Having acknowledged BSP Financial Group Limited for at least rolling out some of the 100 million kina that was allocated to them, the Prime Minister expressed disappointment over NDB's inability to commence lending to SMEs in the country as expected.
Well, in 2020, we've funneled 100 million to BSP. We've also funneled 80 million to National Development Bank. And if it is happening, then I'm happy it is happening. I think BSP has been rolling it out. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit discouraged with what NDB is doing, and I will have a session with them next week. But let me say thank you to Kina Bank. Without extra government support, or no government support at all, Greg came to my office one time. You don't need to give me some fund, and I will try to support SME in putting a special program for them and facility for them.
Next week, the Prime Minister will have an audience with the board and management of NDB to enable the rolling out of the SME funding more quickly.
And in the next week or two, I will have a session with our three main banks in our country, Kina Bank, BSP and NDB. And with NDB, because it's state-owned, we will have a specific interest. And we may need to make intervention at the board level again. We may need to, through that, and have intervention at the management structure. So we put good qualified people to get it up and running.
The main objective of this credit facility is to enable existing and aspiring PNG citizens, MSMEs and cooperatives that have insufficient capital to be able to pursue their business interests under very concessional loan interest rates. Wholly owned by IPBC as trustee for the state and people of PNG, its primary function is to provide accessible development credit to the citizens of PNG to engage in income generation with the aim of improving the quality of lives for Papua New Guineans. Under the credit facility, the National Development Bank will be lending at 4% interest rate for a repayment term of up to 20 years. Priority sectors for the credit facility are for SMEs in agriculture, women, youth and those in the autonomous region of Bougainville, which is 8 million kina out of the total 80 million kina will be for Bougainville SMEs. Newly elected Bougainville Regional MP Peter Tiamalili Jr., in speaking on MTV's In Focus program, said he is working with existing and aspiring SMEs in Bougainville to meet requirements of the credit facility.
Although it hasn't come in a timely manner, it's also allowed the people back home to get themselves prepared to actually fulfill the requirements to access that 8 million, which is 10% of the 8 million. And just recently in our breakfast meeting, where the Prime Minister said that he will be talking with NDB next week, which further gives the confidence that the 8 million will be ready. Most likely, for me, the rollout of my program, I've earmarked August. So hopefully by August, that money will be easily accessible by those that want to take out that loan.
Mr. Tiamalili Jr. has plans of assisting those wanting to apply for loans under the government's credit facility, particularly startups, with their equity.
It's not being unfair. It's although some of the requirements by the banks may have been in the past, and that's why I guess the equity part for me, that's why I've structured the 8 million kina under my program, is that I will, by me, look out in this security component, na this equity component belong all, especially long all startups belong ipla. So it makes it a lot easier and a lot accessible for our ordinary Bougainvilleans on the ground.